Morning, sports fans. It's George with Custom Tied Flies and Guide Service, and we're going to do a tutorial on something I thought up. I'm calling it CT Fishing Sweater. A little story behind that. Several years ago, my mother made me an olive fishing sweater out of this really soft yarn, acrylic yarn. And anyway, long story short, my mom has passed away, and when I was cleaning out her house, I found a ball of the yarn that she made my fishing sweater with. So I'm using that yarn in this fly. It's a unique, one of a kind. I'm the only guy that ties it. It's very effective. I had it out yesterday and caught several bass with it. So the recipe ingredients for this bug is in the description. If this tutorial is interesting to you, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Now I'm going to shed a little light on the I'm going to take this out. Put a little light on the subject here. So I'm starting out with a Mustad size 8, 9672. It's a 2x long nymph hook. Excuse me. And I use I'm using all of Semperfli 70D to start this out. And of course, like the rest of my flies, I like to try to build them in pieces. They're more durable that way. So get you a thread base, a little bit past the bend. This is Hedron's Polar Flash in Chartreuse Gold, and you're going to need 4 strands of that. And then you're gonna match the ends up, trim it in the middle. Okay. Now you don't want to do a thread lay on this one. Just attach it up close to the eye, not all the way to the eye. You're going to run the thread down to where the bend and the shank meet. Then you're going to bring this over and take 2 wraps, then bend this back up and trim it off about 1/4 of an inch or so past the eye, and then take those 2 wraps off. All right, and next is your tail. And what I do here is I take the yarn, match the ends up, and then I come down a couple of inches and I tie an overhand knot, and that supports the yarn while I comb it out. And I'm going to comb it out with a loon boar brush, and I'm going to start up at the top ends and just take my thumb and squeeze the thread down into the bristles and pull it out. If you start further down than the tips, the yarn will get thin and it won't work very well as for what the tail is for. And this particular type nymph/streamer hook, it gives you an interesting benefit because it's down eye. So when you pull on the down eye as you're fishing it, the fly tends to keel with the hook point up, which, you know, that's a good thing. All right, now we got this nice and brushed out. You got all this fiber here. All right, you're going to collect that because you're going to use that later. Now, this tail, just line up with the flash. All right. I forgot to bring my thread up. So you line your tail up with the flash, then take a couple of pinch wraps and run that thread down in open spirals. This is a check. There we go. Gonna trim that off. And then you're gonna cinch that little nub down and then bring the top flash over, and that gives you flash on the bottom and flash on the top. Now the top flash is a little short, so kind of tug on that to get a little more length out of it. That's a little better. There we go. Just wrap that all down. All right. And that's the first part of the bug. So I'm going to bring that forward. I'm going to give that a soft little whip. And I'm going to paint that in head cement. And that is going to reinforce the tail, because that's, you get a lot of damage in the tail area. You know, because, well, face it, it's right above the bend of the hook, and it's going to end up going in the fish's mouth. You just set that off to dry, and once it's dry, you remount it. And now you're on to the black Semperfli Nanosilk. Get tied in. Now you want to pull up tight so you can clip that Nanosilk off. Oh, excuse me. Now you're going to take a wrap around the tail, and that'll help support it a little better, and it has less chance to get stuck in the bend when you're running it. Okay, next is your wire. So I have a piece of my UTC Ultrawire-Black. I'm going to attach that about midway down the shank and pull it over. This is a counter wrap, so I get a better counter wrap if I start the wire on the far side. Next is Semperfli Pearl Chenille 8mm medium in root beer. Just peel off those fibers to expose the core little piece of string in there. Lash that down. So, a couple of half hitches. Bring your bobbin cradle over, and then wrap this going away from you. Try to keep those fibers standing up. You don't want to get too close to the eye. You're going to leave room for the collar. Sorry, I dropped my chenille. I put my scissors down on the top of my glue stick. Don't do that. All right. You want to make sure you have like 2 or 3 eye widths behind the eye so that you got room for your wire and your collar. So you're going to counter wrap the wire, and this reinforces the chenille, because if your bass don't have what would be referred to as really teeth, they have like gripping things in their mouth, like ridges, similar to catfish. But trout and other salmonoids, they have teeth. So you kind of want to try to reinforce that so that they don't tear your bug up. Now, this is kind of heavy to try to helicopter off, so I use an old pair of scissors, snip that wire off. Get a couple wraps of thread in there. All right, now you're going to need 4 strands of this is Hareline's Krystalflash in Pearl. I'm going to line those up, line the other side up, and then just trim it right in the middle. peg it in half. Now here you do use a thread lay. Just lay it on the thread, pull it over, and then you can put that exactly where you want it. And then you're going to trim that off even with the tail. All right. Now you're going to use a thread loop. I'm using Loon Low Tack Swax for my loop, and I'll lay that on there, and then take 3 wraps, and then I'll close the top of the loop. And I got my my loop spinner. I'm gonna lay that in there. And then I had the fibers from earlier when we raked out the tail, and I'm just gonna tuck those up in there. This is one of those cases where you can't really have too much, because you know, whatever you don't use, you're just going to trim off. Unlike when you're putting like fur on the thread, then you can have too much. But here, it's not the case. Close that and kind of tug on it a little bit, and then just give it a soft spin so it's wide and bulky like this. If you give it too tight of a spin, then it's not going to work the way you want it to. I'm going to grab a hold of that with my I just dropped my spinner. All right, now as I come over, I'm going to pull those fibers back. And I'm just going to keep doing that. You see how they move? It's because the thing's not real tight. I mean, it's tight enough. It's not going anywhere. There we go. That looks good. Lash that down. Okay. Pull those fibers back and build you a base where you're going to put your collar hackle. All right, so the collar hackle is Whitting Brahma Hen. And you want to select feathers from what would be the bottom of the hen cape. So they're nice and broad like this. You hold it by the point, rake the fibers down so that they're at right angles to the stem, and then the one that's on top with the shiny side towards you, you're going to pull those off. Use a pinch wrap if you have to get that where you want it. Lash that down good. Trim off that tip. Grab your feather with your hackle pliers. And then I wet my fingers and I make sure that those fibers lay flat back. And it's okay that these are big because, you know, you want them to be. As the fly moves through the column, these will flatten out and stand up, and with this big head on it, that's why you put the yarn loop behind the hackles. It supports them and makes them broad, so it pushes water. All right, get me a head on there. Okay, not a giant head, just a big head, no more than an eye width. All right, and then I'm going to take some, in this case, I'm going to use some thin Solarez bone dry UV resin. And I'm going to do a wet whip. Since this is a wet fly, this is actually going to help sink it because UV resin is 1.15 is the density, which of course is denser than water. So it sinks. So this will help. Doesn't help a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. But it does help. And there you have it. The fishing sweater. I hope this tutorial was fun for you. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can find this and other bugs on my website, my showcase website, custom-tied.com. That's CUSTOMTIED dash, oh, I'm going to mess that up. CUSTOMTIED.com. Have a splash. Don't forget the dash. I don't think I messed that up. CUSTOMTIED. Custom-tied. No, that's right. Custom-tied.com. Happy tying.